was a little bit of Lonnie Johnson, but in the key of E instead of his usual key of D. I got a question of someone, can you do some licks of Lonnie Johnson in the key of E? So he could incorporate that in one of my songs in the key of E. And well, it's kind of simple. Everything which you play in the key of D, you can play in the key of E as well, but you'll have to raise 2 frets. For example, the signature lick of Lonnie Johnson in D sounds like this. And in E, well, 2 frets higher. So you can use everything which you learned in the key of D in the key of E as well. You just have to be careful, because in the key of D you have that D string, and then in drop D then, and also in the Lonnie Johnson's tuning, which is drop G tuning, G, the 5th and the 6th string are tuned a full tone lower. So this is becomes a G and a D. And those strings, well, you can play like that, double bassing, and you can't do that in E because you have an E and a D. So you have to take care of that a bit when playing those licks in the key of E. Now, I often use licks by Lonnie Johnson. It's one of my favorite guitar players, and especially his recordings between 1926 and 1932. That's when he played in the key of D mostly, like 99%. And I used, for example, in the things I recorded by Joseph Spence, is also in drop D tuning, and I added some Lonnie Johnson licks there. And more recently, in the key of E then, I recorded a version of the classic Key to the Highway, and I did a solo. One of the solos is really based on a lot of Lonnie Johnson's licks, and I'll demonstrate that one time now. I got a key to the highway, I'm built out and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, but walking is more too slow. There's the solo now. So on. So that was really Lonnie Johnson, and it is also very typical of Lonnie Johnson. So I put some links in the video description if you're interested in Lonnie Johnson's playing, and eventually tablature. Plus there are several books published by Stefan Grossman amongst others on Lonnie Johnson's playing, and he's even a DVD by Ari Eisinger on his playing. And so there's plenty of material to learn from, and which you can transpose to other keys. And that's what the old blues guys did. They simply learned from each other and did things from in one key the same in other key. For example, Bo Carter is very known for that, of using tricks in certain keys and then using the same in other keys. For example, I learned this chord, the A chord, which you use in Robert Johnson's Kind-Hearted Woman Blues. So, and so on. So this chord, an A in the key of A, you can use that as your 4 chords in the key of E. Just taking one thing from one song and put it in another. So that's something you should do, and that's about it, I guess. So yeah, somebody asked me also about improvising, And I never had any musical education. I learned everything from the Stefan Grossman books and DVDs and so on, and very much listening also. Listening is half the battle, they say. And improvising is, well, play what you know and mixing it. So I learned many songs, and you get a bag of tricks, and you can use those things. Like, for example, when you're playing A chords, you can do like this. That's a typical Blind Boy filler or Reverend Gary Davis lick, and you can use that in your A chord when you play in the key of E. And they use it when they play in the key of A, so that's a good example of it. Okay, I hope you had fun.